Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another webinar from your Simcoe South Georgian Bay Digital Service Squad. I'm Ben Frisch, Service Squad Team Lead, and we're joined by Maggie Mullen on the panel today. Today's topic, Buzzworthy Content Creation, is actually going to be delivered by Rochelle Reynolds, who couldn't be here because she had another commitment, but we had her record it instead of shifting the dates just to make it keep things on track with our webinar schedule. So she kindly did that. So it's a little bit of a different format today where we're going to be running through the slides with Rochelle's voice taking us through the content. And as always, there's the Q&A in your Zoom there. So if you have any questions, drop them in there and we will answer them at the end. Maggie and I will do our best to answer those questions for you. So just a bit of housekeeping here in terms of our program. If you haven't heard about the Digital Main Street program and Digital Service Squad, it is brought to you by FedDev Ontario, the Ontario government, the Ontario BIA Association, and the Toronto Association of BIAs. Here specifically in Simcoe, South Georgian Bay, it is managed by the Small Business Enterprise Center with additional funding and support from the County of Simcoe, the Town of Collingwood, and the Town of Blue Mountains. And so we're really grateful for all their support, and we're excited that you're here and happy to help with your digital transformation. Hopefully you can take away lots from today's webinar. If you haven't connected with your Digital Service Squad, we will drop a link to the consultation calendar so you can book a consultation with your Digital Service Squad, learn about the grant eligibility, learn about other programs that we're doing, digital audits. It's pretty awesome. So feel free to do that, and that will be in the chat. So without further ado, here is Rochelle to take us through buzzworthy content creation.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me for today's webinar. I do wish that I could be there in person with you, but I'm on set filming a TV show, so that's also really cool. But anyway, we are here talking about buzzworthy content creation. And so while I will be giving you some ideas, some best practices, and talking you through some of the most popular platforms and how they can be leveraged for your business, one thing that I really want you to take away from this presentation is simply food for thought. One of the biggest issues that I come across as I consult with businesses on their social media presence is just this overwhelming sense of dread, sense of negativity, just this inability to look past social media beyond it being this burden that business owners must bear. If that's the attitude that you're going into it with, then I would posture that you will rarely find success through those channels, right? The whole point of social media is to be social. It's about giving more than you get and really using your presence on social media to provide value and to build relationships. So just please bear that in mind as we go through this presentation. I'm not prescribing what you should be doing and laying down the law here. I'm simply giving you some food for thought and hoping to inspire you to carry forward on your social media journey positively and with good vibes only. Let's get into it. So why social media? It's not going anywhere. As you can see from these statistics, we've got 2.5 billion daily active social media users around the world. At least some of those people, I'm sure, are going to be your target customers. One other thing that is important to know from this slide is the fact that 71% of users who have had a positive experience with brands found on social media will recommend that brand to others. So that is sort of the strong foundation upon which social media has really exploded over the last few years is because there is a proven return on investment there. If people like you, they will help you. They will help you grow. You can check out more statistics by clicking on the link there, hopefully. Anyway, or you can just go to Overload. All right, the big players, still Facebook reigns supreme. It is the Mac Daddy of all social media platforms, but we've got some more competitors coming in, particularly YouTube. YouTube is kind of the unsung hero, I feel, in the social media sphere because it behaves very differently from other social media platforms. It's not about having a profile that you add stuff to on a daily basis. It's not about photos. It's not about stories. It's about video content. It is about sharing your story through the film/TV medium, right? So just something, again, some food for thought. If you're thinking of starting a YouTube channel, you're probably on the right track. Here are my 3 basic social media tips for everybody. Number 1, start small. Just because people say, oh, you have to be posting to Instagram every single day, you have to be posting to Facebook 3 to 4 times a week. If that is too much for you, if that is not sustainable, don't do it. Start with what you can do and build from there. Number 2, keep it consistent. Whatever you decide to commit to, you have to follow through with that. This happens all the time. People go gung-ho. They get their Instagram profile up and running. They're really excited about it for, I don't know, a couple months, maybe even only a couple of weeks. Then they start not seeing the engagement they want, or they start prioritizing other things over their social media. And before you know it, that profile is absolutely dead. It is effectively obsolete, never added to, just sits and collects dust on your phone. Not going to work. Number 3, make it fun. This goes back to my very first point. The point of social media is to give more than you get. It is about that social interaction, right? So if you're not having fun doing what you're doing, then you got to change it up. You got to find a way to make it work for you. Check out these folks. And as simple as that little Toonly video is, it really drills home my point. These 3 lovely youths are on the gram and on the YouTube and on the Facebook simply because they have something worth sharing and they want the world to know about it. Therein lies the premise of social media. Posting your content. Here is some, again, food for thought. These are best practices to keep in mind. Number 1, make a content calendar. The best way to keep yourself organized is to keep yourself organized and to figure out a way to do that. We will be going into all the tips and tricks behind that in next week's webinar, so I am not going to really touch on how to create your content calendar or what to use to help you with that. That is next week's bag. Number 2, plan out your story. The old adage, the 6 Ps. Perfect planning prevents piss poor performance, and that is absolutely true. If you don't have a plan on a weekly basis, monthly basis, yearly basis, ultimately, then your social media is going to be all over the place, and you're going to find yourself stuck for content and wondering, what on earth am I going to post about today? Plan out your story. What do you want your visitors to get when they go to your social media pages, right? Number 3, stick to the plan. Not every post is going to kill it. Not everything that you upload is going to perform well for you. But if it is all part of that narrative that you set out for yourself, and if you stick to that plan and you follow it, then believe me, your messaging will shine through and the quality of your page will stand the test of time. Allow for spontaneity. Again, social media is all about having fun and capitalizing on moments and leveraging how your business is working in the context of the rest of the world. So if something significant happens that affects your business, or if a problem in the world arises and your business is the perfect solution to that problem, take advantage of that, ride that wave, right? There's nothing worse than a social media page that feels totally out of touch, or just so pre-planned that it's not actually taking into account the nature of the world in that moment. The worst thing that a social media account can be is tone deaf. Number 5, engage, engage, engage. Again, it's not about you posting the very best photos or the most stellar video that has ever been created in the world. It is about building that relationship, engaging with the people who like your stuff, calling out the people who don't like your stuff, right? If the engagement isn't there, then the social media presence isn't there. Speak the right language. Alrighty, so this is kind of going back to what I just mentioned regarding being tone deaf and stuff. So one of the things that can tend to happen is business owners are pressured into creating a Facebook page, pressured into creating an Instagram account, getting on Twitter, maybe even getting on TikTok or something like that. And they really don't know why they're there. They're there because somebody told them that they should be there. They're there because they saw those overload statistics and they go, oh, well, my target market is somewhere on here. Better create a profile and get posting. That is a recipe for disaster because every single social media platform really does have its own language. It has its own set of kind of social rules and mores that must be followed. And if you're on a platform and you don't understand how it works from a consumer's point of view, like from a user's point of view, then how are you possibly going to understand what content to create and how you should be adding to that social media sphere if you're totally out of touch with what is actually going on? So my advice, if you find a platform that you are genuinely interested in, like you derive pleasure out of being on this platform as a consumer, spend some time just doing that. Just be, a silent viewer or a silent follower of a platform itself, certain accounts, certain people whose presence you're liking on that platform, and just get to know what they're doing, how they're interacting, what's working, what isn't. And eventually you're going to feel much more confident as that content creator yourself. Set up social listening. Again, we're going to go into this in more detail in terms of the different tools that are available to you in next week's webinar. But suffice it to say, if you are just churning out content, but you're not actually reviewing any of the information that's coming back to you, so how people are responding, what the analytics are like, how your posts are performing, depending on literally the time of day or when in the week you're posting, then you're also not doing your job and you could be sort of shooting yourself in the foot that way. So social listening is a critical component once you have mastered the basics of the platform. This is not day one, make sure you got your tool up and running. This is, all right, I feel comfortable. I've gotten in my groove. Now I'm ready to start seeing how this is really working for me, right? Finally, you need to be ready to apply the feedback that you are given. So if you're setting up your social listening, once you're over kind of those vanity metrics and everything, and you're no longer addicted to how many likes your posts get, then you can really start digging into the psychology behind what is successful on your channel and what is not. Don't take it personally if you invest a bunch of money in a killer promo video and it flops. That's just kind of the name of the game. I know it sucks. Believe me, I really do. Find a way to leverage that video in a new way. Maybe it's a great video for the landing page on your the landing page on your website. Maybe it just doesn't work on your social media platform. Let it go. You can't get all bent out of shape over that. You might be absolutely infuriated to find out that the post that performs the best for you out of everything you've posted is just like, I don't know, a simple photo of your cat eating your Christmas tree or something like that. Believe me, I get it. It's like, what? This wasn't even part of my overarching strategy. Like this doesn't even directly relate to my business. Doesn't matter. The point is it's working. Take that and apply it as you see fit, right? If your cat is the star of your Instagram profile, then maybe your cat needs to be your spokesperson for your brand, right? Alrighty. Okay, now we're going to get into best practices for YouTube, Facebook, and then Instagram after the fact. For YouTube, your title and your description is very important. Also, you do have the opportunity to use certain keywords and essentially hashtags that you can build into your videos. It's not a miracle cure. Like that's not going to automatically unlock this incredible audience for your videos. I'm not going to sugarcoat that, but it certainly does help. It gives people some added incentive to know that, okay, they're on the right track. If they're interested in this subject matter, if they're interested in these sorts of keywords and the title of your video sparks interest in them, then they are more likely to click on it versus if you just have an untitled video or something that is just kind of boring, I guess. Ensure you embed your website into your description so that you are constantly driving that conversation. Basically, the point is, here's my video, this is what you like. Check out my description below. And hey, look, if you want to learn more about me and my business and how I can help you, here's my website. Very easy. If the website isn't there, then people are definitely not going to look you up. So you want to make sure that it's there. Try to get other websites and blogs to embed your video. So this is basically the next step in terms of backlinking and everything, and it can be a great way to increase your views and also add valuable content to somebody else's site, which is a great form of social currency. And ensure you comment and engage with the community. As your video garners more attention from more people, you are likely to start getting comments. You are likely to start getting some feedback. And you really don't know what that's going to look like, but it is important that you take those at face value and show up to respond to them and engage with them. On Facebook, ensure you're uploading directly to Facebook. Ensure you are adding captions, which is very important. So yes, a picture says 1,000 words. Yes, a video says even more, but it's because of the nature of Facebook, people are interested in that storytelling component. People are still interested in reading those captions and learning more about what's going on behind the scenes. Make sure that you tag people in the video. Again, that's the same as embedding or backlinking your YouTube videos onto other sites and stuff. It just helps drive more and more engagement and expose your video to a greater, or expose your Facebook post, to a greater audience. Ask people to share. People definitely, it's like embedding, or it's like adding the website to your description box. If you aren't asking people to share your posts or share the content that you're putting out there, then of course they're not going to, right? If you put the invitation out there, hey, if you like this, feel free to share it, or tag a friend who you think would appreciate this post or something, people will be more likely to do that. You'd be surprised. Boost your post? Yes and no. Boosting posts can be a really great way to, help posts that are performing really well do better for you, but I would really caution against just kind of going like, oh wow, this post has gotten the most likes out of any of them, I'm just going to put, a $50 boost on it, because again, there's really no strategy behind that. That's just throwing a Hail Mary out into the social media universe. Boosted posts are great if you have formal ads, if you have an event coming up, if you have a great promotion or deal that you really want the world to know about. There really needs to be a reason behind why that post is being boosted beyond just, I want more people to see it. And then embedding Facebook videos is also best practice there. Alrighty, so best practices for Instagram. You got to get used to using hashtags. Hashtags are like GPS coordinates for your posts. They help people find the content that you're producing, provided that those hashtags are relevant and meaningful and properly used in your posts. Captioning, again, the storytelling component is important. It isn't enough to just post a really killer photo or video and then provide no context around it. People are interested. People want to know, especially if you are a small business owner, right? Tag relevant people, locations, etc. Use a custom cover or thumbnail image. So that would be your profile logo. It should be relevant to your business, not just a photo of you. That doesn't really serve your brand, right? Share about your post in your feed and in your stories, so that's a nice way to easily cross-promote. And then finally, you gotta check out Instagram Checkout. This is kind of the next level to Instagram's shoppable feature, which has been around for a long time. So now, through Instagram Checkout, you can list your products, you can tag your products and everything, but rather than people being redirected, so if they see a product that they like in your post and they click on it, they get redirected to your e-commerce site. With Instagram Checkout, they can buy directly in the app. Why is this such a game changer? It's going to eliminate abandoned carts, and it's going to really capitalize on those impulse buyers, right? It's just the way that people work. If people see something that they like but that they don't really need, they're going to click on it. But if they have to wait too long, they're going to talk themselves out of that purchase, right? Through Instagram Checkout, it happens pretty much immediately. It's fantastic. This feature is now available in Canada, so definitely check it out and get it going, especially if you are a product-based business. But Have you met TikTok? So here's a crash course in TikTok. I know TikTok got a lot of heat earlier in this year, but honestly, let's be real. TikTok isn't doing anything different from what any other social media platform is doing. I think honestly, most people are just taking aim at it because it's new and because it's a huge competitor, and people like to kind of pull things apart that are succeeding, unfortunately. So TikTok is amazing because it has mastered the art of consumer driven growth. The thing about TikTok is this is how it works. Somebody posts a TikTok, their friends slash family slash random viewers watch that TikTok. They think it's funny, entertaining, inspiring, useful, stupid, whatever the case is. They share that TikTok. They have options to share. They can share it through Facebook, through email, through Instagram, like WeChat or something like that. There are a whole bunch of integrations that TikTok has built into it. So suddenly this content is just being populated throughout 100 different social media platforms and just seeing so much exponential growth instantly. And it doesn't cost TikTok a thing. All the users had to do was post that initial TikTok. That's why TikTok is such a great viral marketing tool. TikTok is kind of finding its feet. It was the answer to the death of Vine. If you don't know Vine videos, definitely check that out. They're hilarious. But TikTok really has kind of resurrected that and taken it to a new level. So mainly it's currently being used for dance challenges, life hacks, story times, and product demos and reviews, but that's changing literally every single day. The major competitor out there is Instagram Reels, so keep an eye on that. Instagram Reels are still not quite as popular as TikTok, but hey, they have 100% just copied TikTok because they see that it's a successful platform and Mark Zuckerberg wants it for himself. Until Instagram Reels really takes over and dominates that market, TikTok is still kind of really cornering that market. Why is TikTok good for business? In Canada, especially, TikTok is a very unsaturated market, so there is great opportunity for you to really position yourself as an expert and really kind of own, like be the champion of TikTok for your particular industry, business, service, area of expertise, what have you. It's really effective for businesses with young target audiences. So yes, TikTok skews very young. If your product is, designed for octogenarians, maybe not a good platform for you. But if you are really trying to target the Gen Zs, millennials, even later stage Gen Xers, that could be a really good segment for you to reach. Okay, next, paid ads are easily disguised. So this is probably my favorite part about TikTok. I have been a user of TikTok, like just sort of a silent viewer. I haven't produced any, but I certainly have consumed it as a user. And honest to God, I have been watching TikToks that have been paid promotions from major brands, and I had absolutely no idea that they were ads. The storytelling potential and the sheer creativity that is being unlocked because of this platform really is exciting to watch. And that's why I encourage you to play around with it, because you never know. You could see something that is just so unbelievably inspiring and that really just changes your perspective on how you can advertise your brand. It's wonderful at unlocking that creative potential. Exciting news, shoppable TikToks are being rolled out. So that's going to be a feature very similar to Instagram checkout. Instagram's trying to steal TikTok, so TikTok's going to steal Instagram checkout. That's just how that's going to work. That is not available in Canada yet, but definitely keep your eye on it. It should be rolled out in 2021. All right, so now it's only fitting that we hang out and watch a few TikToks together so you can get kind of an idea of what this platform is all about. This is very broad strokes. I've only pulled kind of a few example videos, but just something to get those creative juices flowing. And again, it's just some food for thought. So here are the 3 general ones, and then I'm going to go into the business-based, more formal advertising-based ones.
perfect. I know there's always gonna be somebody better, someone easier who's got it all together. And every time I feel like I am really worth it, then you say I'm perfect.
Yes.
Opportunity for creative advertising.
Yes.
I just love that video. I mean, that just goes to show you what I mean by sort of this whole new opportunity for creative advertising. Who would ever expect a social media channel like ESPN to leverage a clip like that, right? Usually ESPN is all about advertising whatever coverage is coming up and all these experts that they're going to be interviewing and whatnot. Very rarely do you get sort of this like off the cuff hilarious look at a different side of ESPN, and that is something that TikTok has really enabled them to explore, right? All right, so now we're going to look at TikTok for business. So these are a couple of examples that I pulled of certain industries creating very specific ad-based TikToks.
I'm just going to switch views here 1 second, because having some trouble with these videos, and it would be a lot easier if I just go to this mode, and here's what we're going to do.
So that one is obviously advertising some luxury real estate, and you know, I wish her well because I'm sure she's going to have a really hard time finding some buyers for that particular property. What a dump. All right, and last up, this is a Samsung commercial. Now, this is the only one that I'm featuring that is a straight up paid promotion. Like this one serves as an ad, okay? To I put that into context. All these other ones that I've shown are simply content-based, organic TikToks that people have created and released.
Awesome screen, awesome camera, awesome battery, 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 awesome screen, awesome camera, awesome battery.
Awesome is for everyone.
Alrighty then, so as you can see, Samsung is obviously advertising their new phone. I just wish that they could express a little bit more about how good the screen and camera and battery are. That's really the information that I want. Anyway, all right, so the last thing that we're going to talk about is the idea of creating your online persona. This is another thing that comes out when I'm having consultations with businesses is they don't necessarily know what tone to strike, or they don't know how to tell their story. They don't know kind of what flavor they want their social media accounts to be. I'm just going to touch on that a little bit. These are kind of the four main ones that you see going around these days. So there's the aesthetically driven one, which is all about image, enticing people to investigate your brand further based on the eye candy that you're posting. There's the professional / expert one, which is all about leveraging your expertise. There's the personal and community one, which is less about advertising your brand or your business and more about advertising you and the people around you, and getting people interested in tuning in to see what you're doing in your life. And then finally, there's the edgy and divisive one. So the one that's the most fun, highest risk, highest reward, I would say. Okay, aesthetically driven, as I mentioned, image is everything. So it's popular among travel accounts, cosmetics, fashion, and food and beverage. These are a few examples. So we have Gracias Madre, which is a really swanky vegan restaurant in Beverly Hills. I actually lived around the corner from it for a little while earlier this year when I moved down there. And yeah, it's an interesting place. Very, very pretty food, let's say. Then there's Anastasia Beverly Hills, which is a huge makeup company. And then finally, there's something like Plus Planet, which is all about travel and location highlights. All right, here are a couple of aesthetically driven accounts in action. So the screen that you're seeing on your left is the feed for Gracias Madre. And the one on the right is one of the Anastasia Beverly Hills feed posts. So just to give you kind of, again, some food for thought, some inspiration on that particular type of account. Next up, we have the professional and expert account. So position yourself as an authority, leverage your experience. It's all about sharing your knowledge. So we've got Dr. Mike, the world's most attractive and popular doctor. Abby Sharp, a wonderful Canadian nutritionist. And Fouad Abiad, who is also Canadian, and he is a beast of a bodybuilder. All right, so here are a couple of those accounts in action. So this would be Abby Sharp's Instagram homepage. So why I included this is it's a great example of effectively using your bio and also the highlights. You can see that she's got all sorts of categories there for people to check out. And then Fouad Abiad, that is his, that's just a sample of his feed. So you can tell instantly by looking at that, yeah, he's a little bit into fitness. All right. The personal and community account. This is all about, again, building your tribe. So you corner your niche, you create a loyal following who keep coming back for you. Jojo Siwa, she was on Dance Moms, I believe, way back when, and she has found some serious fame on YouTube and other Instagram channels. There's David Dobrik, who is mostly a YouTuber. He's not very active on Instagram or doesn't really use that platform as aggressively, but in any case, he's a big lifestyle YouTuber. And Trixie Mattel, world famous drag queen and makeup enthusiast. All right, here are some of those accounts in action. On the left is Trixie's Instagram feed. So as you can see, she is passionate about drag. She's also passionate about makeup. And then Jojo Siwa, that is an example of one of her Instagram feed posts. And that's just her, right? That's just her living her best life. But if you read the caption attached to this post, she's actually full on advertising her new album that is coming out. So that's just kind of an example of how to post content using that kind of brand identity. You can do some serious hard selling without actually selling anything, right? Because she's got millions of followers who are going to love that photo, and just by virtue of liking that liking that photo and wanting to read the caption, they're going to learn, oh my goodness, Jojo's got an album coming out. I need that in my life. And then finally, the edgy and divisive one. So this is really devoted to those who like to speak their mind. It's for account owners who are okay with being witty, clever, and controversial. And it's great if you can take what you dish. So don't position yourself as an edgy or divisive kind of account voice if you are not willing to follow it through, right? Because people are going to come for you. So great examples of this. The master of them all is Wendy's. Oh my goodness, what a saucy little girl. Bianca Del Rio, again, world famous drag queen. much more famous for her mouth than anything else. And Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, obviously very, very active social media user who is also, heavy into politics down in the States. So here are a couple of these accounts in action. So on the left is a feed post from Bianca Del Rio. It is a meme that she created. Featuring one of her most iconic moments from her season on RuPaul's Drag Race, where she encouraged one of the other queens to get out of the kitchen if she couldn't take the heat, as it were. And she has repurposed this to include the current president and kind of sharing her feelings on the election results in 2020. And then on the right, we have the absolute master at Edgy Divisive accounts in action, and that would be Miss Wendy herself. So this is from Wendy's roast day. Obviously, we've got her roasting Butterfinger and Hooters in just the best ways. Anyway, okay. So that's about it from me. I wish I could take your questions, but I can't. So good luck, Ben, and whoever else is fielding the questions for this one. If you want to connect with me, if you want to learn more about it, just sort of on a more one-on-one basis, happy to do that for you. You can always send me an email. So thank you so much. Tune in next week for the next part of this webinar, which is the social media legwork bootcamp. All right, thanks so much. Have a wonderful week.
Thanks, Rochelle. That was great. So I don't see any questions. I saw Michael raised his hand. I don't know if you did that on purpose. You can drop your question in the Q&A. You can see that on your menu at the bottom of Zoom there. If you want to drop a question in. I did want to say, just reiterate a couple of really awesome points in there. Well, first off, next week is focusing more on social media legwork. So how to actually create those processes to make the job of managing your social media accounts easier. So, developing that content calendar, looking at different software options to schedule posts, things like that. So that's where we wanted to focus today, mostly on just the content component of that and giving you some inspiration to create buzzworthy content. But I like that point, though, that she made about do what you can. There is so much advice out there. People suggesting that you get on TikTok, that you get on Twitter. There are, for all the advice, there are as many just completely dead accounts that don't get used because, business owners just find they take on too much, and it's better to, explore those platforms once you have the time, the energy, and a plan in place to do that. So that's something we always recommend. Stick with like the main 3 big platforms until you've kind of mastered those. You want to explore something different and have the capacity to do so. And then, like when it comes to your content, not being tone deaf, I think is another really great point about, you create a calendar of like your content calendar, but it's also really important to be aware of what's going on in the world. So if there's a natural disaster and you've scheduled a fun, happy post about how great things are going, or something like that, it's important to read the room, change gears, be flexible, and don't be tone deaf. Maggie, did you have anything else to add to Rochelle's webinar there?
Yeah, the main thing too with your content is it's always quality over quantity. So really make sure if you're putting posts out, really make sure that they're worth the quality, that there's something you're proud of putting out instead of just trying to get a whole bunch of posts out because you think that's how it's going to work. It's not. It's really about quality of it. So when you're posting something, make sure you look at it before you post it. Especially with Instagram, you want to make sure you can read the text if it's a text on a photo or anything like that, or sound, because you want to make sure that it looks good going out because it's a representation of you. And you also want to do, it's not always have to be business. You want a little bit of personality in there because nowadays people want to really know the business, and the more personal you can be, the more people feel they know you, and the better trust they have with you, which is a really big thing for consumers nowadays.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that Samsung TikTok was my favorite example, in that it was just fun, creative, off the wall, and well executed. And yes, as Rochelle pointed out, they really hammered home the what was it? The screen, the battery life, and the something else. There's three. Maybe they didn't hammer it home enough, I guess, because it didn't stick. It didn't stick. But it's definitely shareable, right? It was something that I would watch again because there's so much going on that I would want to catch a lot of those details. And yeah, I think you really kind of made a great point there as well about like making sure that the content is really great. So, and not only that, but if you can't produce 3 great pieces a week, maybe you can do 1, right? And so it's about finding that balance that works for you, and about figuring out the processes to make that as easy as possible. And that is what we're talking about next week. So
Yeah, and like off the bat, like if you're new to a platform, it's going to take a bit to be able to, get the hang of it, but that's the whole point. You have to kind of try some things, see what works, and then you go from there because some things will work for you that you think are great, and some things you think that are going to work don't. It's honestly, you just got to try some things and feel it out, and then you can start making a plan from there.
absolutely. So I don't see any other questions. Oh, are these slides available? Yes. That is a good point. I meant to do that, and you will have those shortly. While I do that, Maggie's going to tell you more about why you should contact your digital service squad.
Yeah, absolutely. In the chat, you'll see you have a link to be able to book a consultation with us. So, we're really here to help everyone any way that we can. Even if it's just talking with you and kind of working out some different stumps you've had in your business plan right now. Contact us. We're here to help you. We do a 30-minute consultation off the bat. We offer digital audits, which for this environment is perfect because what we do is we take a look at all of your web preference. We look at the areas you're doing really, really well in, and we look at the areas that you're not doing so great in, but we give you those tips and tricks and work with you to how to improve those. We really want you to succeed, and we're really here to help you as well.
Perfect timing. Just dropped the PDF of the slide deck into the chat box. So feel free to grab that slide deck because there were some external links to additional learning and resources. So definitely check that out and connect with us if you have any more questions or want some help developing a content calendar. But again, feel free to register for that webinar next week. And we will see you there. So if there's no more questions, I think we will wrap it up. Thanks again, everyone, for joining us. Thanks, Maggie. Thank you, Rochelle, wherever you are, somewhere in a haunted hospital. Yeah, book a consult and ask her about it, because I'm sure it is a great story to tell. Have a wonderful day, everyone. We'll see you in the next webinar. Take care.
Bye.